What's up, guys? This is Heist. Today we're playing Train Simulator on the Clear Creek narrow gauge route. I figured it would be apt, seeing as I just moved back to Colorado to celebrate with one of the lines in the game that is A, narrow gauge, and B, very close to me. So let's see, we're playing the scenario in career mode down the switchback. So let's see. Engine 66 run extra from Central City to Black Hawk once train 151 then the 63 has arrived at Central City. Permission to switch in yard limits at Central City and Black Hawk. Very good. This is an actual little train order. This is what you'd used to get as an engineer. It's very fun. All right. So presumably couple 1100 to the back of extra 66. We got a couple up there. It looks like the passenger train's on the way in, so we won't ES&D that quite yet. So this is a wonderful little add-on. It's one of the few real narrow gauge things for Train Simulator Classic. And it models the Colorado and Southern along the Clear Creek line, which is historically leaving out of Golden and going up to the present-day Georgetown Loop Railroad that still exists. So it's kind of neat to see. And he's not going to whistle for the crossing. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Cool. Well, anyways. 71. I think it's the 70 is the car that I've seen that's preserved in Idaho Springs, Colorado. But anyway, let's get back on our locomotive here and let's go start switching. Kick the bar forward. Got the air on, we'll kick it off. And then, yeah, locomotive brake's already off, so here we go. Just apply the steams. Looks good with the plow, doesn't it? Hopefully I don't mind if we just run through that switch. We threw it, promise. Alright, so we gotta pick up this reefer here, I suppose. It's the first move. Yep. And then I think we're gonna go back and grab those other cars that were behind us here. So we'll get that switch lined and ready for us. And now I did notice I replayed the tutorial on these locomotives because I remember they had some kind of goofy stuff with the firing setup. But I'm not sure what kind of air brakes they're supposed to have in the simulation, but it is a little bit weird, where you've got a sort of... Oh, no, that is the wrong button, Heist. You've got a more modern-style automatic brake valve. I don't know if it's necessarily like a 6ET or what, but then you've got this independent brake valve that's just this little handle right here, and it really doesn't seem to do terribly much. As we fly down the countryside here. Alright, kick it off, and we'll back things up here. Our headlight's not on. There we go. Gotta get that going. Come on, sweetheart, let's go. And I'm thankful that they gave us a chime whistle rather than whatever sadness this itty-bitty thing makes. That's a little bit shorter than the real CNS peanut whistle, but I can only imagine how horrid that sounds. So I'm glad that we got given something nice. All right, don't stall out on me yet. I believe we're up in Central City, and then we'll be running down the switchbacks to Black Hawk, which was one of the branches off of the old CNS Clear Creek line, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool bit of territory, and it is neat that it does come to Golden. Oh, that's fine. I was trying to find the brake valve in the camera view, and we just made a, very nice, solid, easy couple. So it's fine. Okay, and remembering that the brakes don't work on the locomotive, really, we will grab the automatic. And it is kind of weird. It does actually work like 6ET or A1, where you have to apply the air and then lap it, but it's kind of odd in that it has like application speeds that are different, and that's probably just a byproduct of the way that Train Sim wants to work. So normally there would only be one application speed. You just go into application and it does whatever it does. And in this case, you've got a multiple kind of setting for it. And then releasing it, you just go all the way over and it releases, which isn't quite right. There should be overcharge beyond it, whether it's A1 or 6ET. I'm not entirely certain what these engines would have had back in the day, though. So, anyway. The C&S narrow gauge engines are just kind of bizarre looking when you look at them. They don't feel quite home. It's very similar to 346 that I've operated, of course. Narrow gauge 280, 3-foot gauge, but the way that they look, the extended smoke box, the air reservoirs on top, in between the domes with the bell mounted on top of that, the compressor on the engineer's side instead of the fireman's side, and then, of course, the Ridgeway spark arrestor. They look very distinctive and very interesting, and with the giant 18-inch pile headlight and the smaller smoke box, they really do look kind of weird. Anyways, let's not bang those cars too hard, shall we? Just start setting the air up. Just keep setting the air up. That's fine. There we go. Sure, that's how that responds. All right. Can I get a dunk? Ooh, we're an extra, so we got to put flags on. We'll put up our flags. I pressed Y. Oh, hang on, I pressed it too many times. We want an extra. We're not the leading section. There we go. Got our white flags on. And now we need to go stop at the Blackhawk upper switchback. So I guess we'll start heading out of town here. And the spacebar, the whistle loop doesn't do what we want it to do, so that's fine. It's going all over the place. I don't know what the speed limit is here. 12. Well, we're already going faster than that. That's fine. There's no PTC on the narrow gauge. Oh, you do lose points, though. Well. Oh, no. What am I going to do? I guess I'll set some air up, then. Oh, that is a bit of a spooky curve right there. The air is not setting up. I did not go far enough over. Come on. There we go. Get a good 5-pounder on there. 5 pounds is not holding us back. Let's get about 10. 10 would be doing... Oh, lordy. That was very scary. We would have been flung off right there, giving our conductor and brakeman whiplash in the caboose. Okay, I see why the speed limit's 12. I see why the speed limit's 12. This is just madness. They couldn't find any other way to grade this? Okay, we just dumped the brake pipe. It's fine. Okay, now release it. Come on, air compressor, you can keep up. There we go. Guess we'll pull through it. It's 12. Oh, yeah, it's 3.5% down the whole way. Yikes. Alright, I think we want to get into about a 5-pounder now that we're actually at speed here. So we'll get down to 65 PSI brake pipe. Alright, we're doing a little bit more than 12. We're doing 14, but we're not going to throw ourselves off now at this point. And who cares about the points, right? It's fine. This route looks great in the snow. It really is pretty. Oh, and this is going to be a neat trestle. We are slowing a little bit with the 5-pounder, so we'll have to kick it off and roll through it here in a second, but look at that. That's fun. Oh, you gotta love it. It's a neat bridge. Alright. Well, we're gonna release the air, get our menu back up here, and then we're immediately gonna go back into it again. Get another 5-pounder on. And the reason I keep taking 5 is that theoretically, with the brake valves that these cars would have, the control valves on the cars, they probably wouldn't react until you had 5 pounds on at all. Oh, now we're going down at a 1.5%. All right, I see how it is. Grade keeps changing. Oh, wow, yeah, so this is kind of a quick run. Central City up here at the one end, and then Blackhawk is just down here. So we're going down the switchback to go down there and do some switching. It's a pretty quick trip. Oh, we pulled through our set a little too hard, though. What a wacky bit of railroad. This would have been cool to see back in the day. That's what it is really neat that they chose this route, because I mean the start of it in Golden at the other end of the line, you can see some of the existing stuff to this day. When you go through Golden, you can see where the old CNS depot was. All right, we'll kick the air off. We're dragging too hard through this curve. So it's really cool to have it recreated and be able to run what ran, right past the Colorado Railroad Museum and where I live. So it's always really cool. As far as the sim goes, and the gameplay side of things, it is neat that this actually has pretty well functioning, I mean, as far as you can have it really, self-lapping, or non-self-lapping air, excuse me. And if you don't know what that means, I did a really good video called Air Brakes 101 a couple months back that went over how all that sort of stuff works and explains pretty much the air brakes that this thing would have had and how they work. So it is fun that it works, and the sets seem to respond properly based on the train weight and train size, so the physics is pretty nice. The firing, you kind of set it to automatic. There's this weird gauge back here, and I guess the automatic fireman's off right now, so we can turn him on, and he'll fire based on however this gets set. This weird little dial, you press E to change it. You can have him even control the water too, so I think we'll just do that, because I'm not sure how to deal with some of these other the firing aspects of this, because you look at the fire door and it's like, okay, we pop it open, and then how do you put more coal in? Presumably there's a button, but I always find it troublesome in train sim to get that to work out. Oh, it's so pretty. And the model's pretty nice. It's not the best model out there. It's certainly far from the worst, though. A lot of the details are really nice and really well done. There are some oddities in here, like that there's no pipe to the top of the hydrostatic lubricator. The texturing on the pipe wrap on the pipes that are wrapped up is a little interesting, but it does the job and gets the feel right. The injector is set up nice, and the lines in the cab are set up nice. So it's pretty faithful. There's some weird things about it, but unless you've run the real one, you probably wouldn't notice them. So it's certainly fun to enjoy as someone just playing a train sim. And I do want to talk about the Ridgeway spark arrestor at some point. I think that's worthy of its own video. Let me know if you'd like to see that down in the comments below. 346 has one, actually. I don't know if it's on her right now because she's getting a big rebuild done. Will presumably eventually come off if it is still on. But this thing is kind of magic, and it really helps prevent fires. And actually, kind of one of the funny things is it's up right now, but with the snow on the ground, we'd be running with it open instead of closed like this. It's mounted on hinges so that you could drop it away to the side. And if you're in the winter time, or if the ground is exceedingly wet, you could just run with it down, and you get slightly better drafting that way. And so technically we would be running with it down right now with all the snow, but obviously not simulated here, so we just have it on the model. But the CNS engines all had these, and 346 was leased to the CNS for a while, and that's when she had her famous wreck, where we joke about smells like Kenosha. That's where that comes from. But she had a cinder, the Ridgeway spark arrestor like this, and it's an ingenious piece of engineering, and I'll have to film the real one up close and kind of show off the cool things about it. I think that'll be a worthy video. But it does look like there's some other fun stuff. Junction box for the headlight, though the conduit, I guess that runs back into the cab rather than straight to the dynamo, but there's nothing coming off the dynamo. So little details, but pretty well modeled and certainly cool. The chuffs sound pretty authentic, and the whistle's nice, despite it being not the one that's modeled, but I prefer that to the one that is actually there. So have we gotten to 0 points yet? Not quite. 585. It starts at 1,000 and you just lose points, so we haven't lost all the points yet. And we are about a half mile from the upper switchback, apparently. And that's where we'll turn around and back into Black Hawk. So we've come from Central City all the way up there, up the top. And that actually looks pretty familiar, the roadway layout, to the real modern-day Central City, though now there's a bunch of big casinos and stuff. And one of the sisters of whatever locomotive we have, the 66, is actually on display in Central City, although it's the 71. It's not the same class, so I guess cousin, but if you will. And then we're going to run to the switchback here, and then back down the switchback into town. And then presumably they'll make us do some more switching. Well, this is a fun little route, fun little run. And it's always nice when you're managing a little train in Train Sim. You know, 5-6 cars, however many it is. Yeah, 5 cars, including the caboose. That's nice and easy and manageable. You don't have to worry about it. This is something we'd pull at the museum. And safety's feathering. What's our pressure at? Yeah, it's right up there. That's fun. Well, I guess it's at 143. Oh, I guess it must have just finished lifting. Well, particle effects. You can only do so much in Train Sim. Now, I did see that Train Sim World 3 got announced, and it's going to be coming out pretty soon, so I'll try and pick that up and get an early review in on it. I am a little bummed to see that they have Cajon Pass again as the American route. It feels like they've been recycling Cajon Pass over and over and over again throughout the years. So, you know, we'll just see how that goes. But hopefully they get the gameplay aspects of it right. Spirit of Steam was such a treat. I really hope that they get the all the little details and the operational side of things right for Train Sim World 3. It looks like the weather is going to be kind of brilliant, but, you know, we'll just have to see how it turns out. All right, so we're going to walk up to the switchback here. I still have that 5-pound set on, and magically it's not leaked at all, despite the winter. Trains always want to leak in the winter. That's just what they do. Almost there, so we'll let the throttle ease back off so we can slowly come to a stop here. And then we throw the switch, if it'll let us. Nope, we're still too close, apparently. That was an important message that I skipped over. Oh well. And now we'll just keep that magical 5-pound set on and just shove through it here. And shove onto the switchback. The lower chunk here. Looks like still a 12-mile-an-hour speed limit. And we should start going off to the races once the engine and tender get on the hill here. All these cars are pretty lightweight. Probably... Shoot, this caboose is probably only like 5 or 6 tons. These bobber cabooses are itty-bitty. We actually have the CNS 1009 at the museum. That's really cute. Itty-bitty little caboose. And a lot of those cabooses are still in preservation, kind of funnily enough, which is neat. Oh, the reason we weren't accelerating is because we had one of those magical train simulator Johnson bar experiences where the Johnson bar directly ties to the speed. And it looks like we need a little bit more air. Okay, keep it rolling, keep it rolling. It's 4.1%. You can see why they put a switch back in. And it's just like getting upstairs to the rest of town, kind of almost. Yeah, we're still accelerating here, so I'm going to get a little bit more air squeezed on. Come on, there we go. It says self-lapped. Well, that's Train Sim for you. It's not self-lapped, it would be lapped. But anyway, got about 10 pounds on. And yeah, presuming all these cars are either empty or they had pretty well adjusted brakes, that's pretty accurate. I think that we kicked it all off with that keyboard command. It's hard to see with the white text on the white snow. Go take another one, about 8 pounds. Something to hold us back as we now rocket down the hill. That is definitely accurate. You kick off a set with no retainers on a steep hill like that, you get off to the races pretty quick. It can be pretty scary. And what I mean by retainers is that every car, at least on the narrow gauge territory, I'm not sure if they're modeled on these or not, has what is called a retainer valve. And it's where the air releases from the brake cylinder, and it can basically retain some of that air, so it lets the brake cylinder release much more slowly. Actually holds your set on for a pretty significant period of time. So you'd definitely be using retainers on a hill like this, though it was pretty short. You wouldn't necessarily need it, but if you're running down a really long hill with a longer train, you definitely want to have retainers set up so that you can release the brakes and recharge everything while still holding the brakes on, because while you're set up, you can't charge the brakes. You got to remember that your brake pipe pressure is what's saying what the set is, and is also what's charging the reservoirs on the cars. So if you have a set on and you've got the brake pipe reduced, you're not going to be able to actually charge those reservoirs until the brake pipe gets released. So a retainer helps hold that set in that in-between transition. So definitely an important piece, particularly for narrow gauge railroading like this. So we need to drop off a bunch of cars at the lower switchback here. Almost everything, the 1100, 4446, 4480, 8280, and the 1014. I think that's the whole train. Yeah, we're going to add some more cars. Okay. What are we doing? Just a percent. All right, we still got a quarter mile to go into the siding here. This must have been wacky to see back in the day. You're just in the middle of an old western town, mining town in the mountains, and they've just built a trestle across town for the train. Kind of crazy looking, isn't it? How fun is that? Train's just floating, man. That's pretty cool. Look at the industries are cooking. Look at all those sprites going on. Alright, we're like working with the throttle wide open against this set, but we're not slipping. And I don't care about the virtual coal that we're wasting, so we're just going to keep doing that because it's working pretty nicely. And make sure our switches are aligned all the way back. They are not. Let's grab this one. And yeah, got that frozen lake back here, frozen river. Presumably Clear Creek itself. Alright, we'll stop shoving with all of our might against it. Lightly shove it, get a little bit slower speed here. Keep it shoving, come on. All right. Almost to point of switch, we gotta clear it. Alright, guess we'll release the air, because I can't throw the switch yet. Alright, lapped the air up, and now we will kick these cars off. Oh. Okay, well, glad that they automatically just did the thing. It's fine. Now we need to grab those two boxes. Alright. Come on, sweetheart. Yeah, the Johnson bar does not control speed just like that. Like, if I put it all the way forward, it will hold it at 60 or 6 miles an hour or something. It doesn't make any sense. You also wouldn't be using the automatic right here, but the independent brake does not seem to do anything. And you get extra minus points for an emergency brake set? Well, that's no fair. Don't they know how the ES&D railroads? Get that switch lined. Come on. See, alright, I'll leave it wide open all the way in reverse. and we're stuck at 6 miles an hour. It's kind of convenient, almost. Perfect switching speed, almost. Not quite. Our firemen could just hate us. It's fine. Oh, the good old boxcar shed. Everyone's favorite. Even present back in the day, presumably. Let's back into these things. Just gonna give it a little private crossing warning whistle. Yeah, God, but as soon as you start to release the... oh, heavens. Uh-oh. We just... Oh. Oh. Yeah, we kicked the cars into the river. So, what happened there was that I had the throttle wide open and the bar all the way in reverse because that mythically holds the locomotive to 6 miles an hour because that's how that works, apparently. And as soon as I started to put the throttle back in, it took off like a rocket before I could get any amount of air set up, because I thought it was just the Johnson bar, but I guess it's the combination, which doesn't make any sense at all. Whatever. But yeah, so we took off like a rocket and punted some boxcars into the river. So I guess that's that. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. These games are fun. These little silly things. I mean, yeah, it's not realistic, but it's still fun, and the models are relatively authentic, and it's cool to have some narrow gauge to play with in Train Sim. So if you'd like to see some more of this, let me know down below, of course. Make sure you click the like button, click the subscribe button if you're new here. And then, as always, thank you to the ES&D Train Crew. The ES&D Train Crew are our channel members, help support the channel monetarily. They get some extra sweet benefits along the way to help them as well. So you get the thumbnails for the videos before they get released, so you get to see what's coming up. You get some sweet emojis. You get the cool lantern picture to show how long you've been a member of the channel. And as well, the conductor tier gets some extra videos from me. And those are going to start getting more exciting once I start filming at the Railroad Museum starting, next week here. So it's going to be really exciting. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll catch y'all next time.